Hey everyone, what's going on? This is Jared with Splendor Lights, and the show season for Christmas is officially over, and I'm doing a quick walkthrough video. I plan on splitting this video into 3 videos, one on the controllers and how everything's kind of wired, and not really everything. I'll go over the exact wiring when I cover the house and the yard video, but the first video is going to be about the controllers and the wire, how they're set up and how they're powered and where they are on the house, and probably go in the office and show you X lights a little bit. Not a training video, but just how I do everything. So over here on this side of the house, I have, there we go. I have one controller over here. It's a Dig quad, and it controls all my permanent lights. So across the eaves of the house, I have permanent lights that don't come down, and they'll stay up year round. And then over here behind the mega tree, over here, there's 2 controllers that control everything on the show. So there's, like I said, there's gonna be 3 videos, and just check the links if you want to see the other 2 videos and you don't want to watch this one. All right, so we're gonna switch over to the house, and then I'll show you guys the stuff. All right, so here's the front of the house. Not at night, during the day. It's losing my daylight. This is like my 3rd take on this because I'm using this app and I've never used it before, and I'm not a good videographer. Maybe my buddy Leon will help me out someday. But over here, like I said, the controllers, and we're gonna start over here on the permanent lights, which are on the left side of the house over here. So we're gonna walk over. And on the house, I have permanent lights up here, all along the eaves, like I was telling you, and these are gonna stay up, or they do stay up year round. And all those are controlled over here on the side of the house. And on the side of our house, we have this comm box, which is generally used for like your Xfinity internet or your AT&T Wi-Fi or your DirecTV stuff to come in, and then it goes to the closet. And I just hooked everything up in the closet. I don't have any DirecTV or anything like that, so I have an empty comm box. And this was put in by the builder. I didn't do this custom, and it already had the power in here. That's what made it great. So what I have in here is I have a Casa smart switch, and this allows me to independently power on the AC converter, the FM transmitter, and the Raspberry Pi. So in this box, I have our Dig quad controller, and this controls all my permanent lights, and this is where the LEDs hook up right here, and they go into the Dig quad, and I have it plugged in directly to the network because, like I said, the builders put this in and was already wired to the switch in the bedroom, and that's where I got a wire. So you don't want to use wireless if you don't have to. And then down here I got my Meanwell LRS 350 power converter, and then up here I got my Raspberry Pi, and the Raspberry Pi is what actually controls the show. The Raspberry Pi tells the controllers what lights to turn on and turn off, and when, and the music and all that. So the music comes out of the Raspberry Pi and it goes into a splitter, and then from the splitter I go into my amplifier for my outdoor speakers, and over here I have my outdoor speakers. I got one under that eave, and I got one over here under the eave right over there. So that's my FM transmitter. I'm sorry, my my stereo amplifier for my speakers, so that if you're not in your car, you can still hear the show. And then down here is my FM transmitter. And I just have a Science Tech, 0ST05B or whatever it is. Everybody has pretty much the same model. And then I have my antenna mounted on the panel that goes over this so that I have an outdoor signal, and it's all waterproof. So I didn't even have to do any of that. I just had to put the stuff in here. So all the wires are ran up the wall, and they come out. For the permanent lights, they come out up there into this one, and they'll run along the inside of the garage in a conduit, and then under here the conduit comes out the wall and goes over here, and then it pops out over here, and then it goes to my lights on my eaves up here. So anyways, we're going to go over here and look at the controller. And I actually have 2 controllers over here. And my first controller right here, this is the one that controls everything in the show except for the Mega Tree. So this controller right here is a, I don't know if you could read it very well, but it's a Falcon F16 V4 controller, 16 ports, and then I have a Falcon F16 V4 expansion board, which gives me another 16 ports. So all of the props run from the controller down these cables into all the different props all over the house. So I'm going to talk about that in a separate video. But all the cables are individually labeled with heat shrink tube. I have a heat shrink tube printer that prints these out, and then when I'm building the controller box, I put these on and heat shrink them on here so I know what port goes to what. It's really, really easy. And then the network for this controller comes in from the house on this line. It goes in here, gives this controller network, and then it comes out and it goes out, and then it goes to my other controller on the other side. So like I said, this controller controls everything on the show except for the Mega Tree. Close that up really quick. Always make sure I snap it so they don't get anything water in there. All right, so here's the other controller. Pop this box open. And this controller is a Falcon controller also, but it's the Falcon F16 V5. And this is just a newer version. It's a 16 port controller, and this one has other expansions, but these expansions are meant to run over a network cable and you put them somewhere else. But I'm not using any of those right now. And this isn't a video on what the controller does and how to use it, just a kind of an overview. And this is going to my Mega Tree. And the Mega Tree, every up and down, every two strands, two lines here are connected to one port, and it's 125 up and 125 down. So each port has 250 pixels on it. So it's 250, 250, you know, times all that. But that's the controller, the two controllers over here, and that's what controls the show. And down here, this is where the power comes into the controllers. And the power just runs through these 12 gauge power cables that I have. And they run along the over here. And they go down the fence behind that corner. And then over here by my pool equipment, I have a 20 amp circuit out there that controls my pool, and it also has a plug so I can plug anything I want into it. But the good thing about it is my pool only runs during the day and the lights only run at night, so I never have to worry about overloading it. But anyway, that's it for right here. And then the network cable in the house just runs along the line behind these plants over here, running along the wall. And I'm not super proud of this, but it goes here and it goes under the door into my office. Now I'm gonna fix this summer. I'm gonna put a line on the outside of the house by where the power comes in, so that I don't have to have this running through my door. It's kind of, you know, janky. All right, so from here we're gonna go in the house. I'm gonna go into my office and hey, how's it going? And show you my office and where I do X lights, and hopefully I can show you guys X lights and how it works. A little bit of high level overview, but that's what we're gonna do. So I'll meet you in the office. Before we go in the office, I just wanted to show you the other side of the fence here. So the 12 gauge power extension cables come down here, run down the wall, they go behind my pool equipment over here, and then this is where they plug in to the outlet. Now, like I was saying, this is all for my pool, but they gave me a plug here. I didn't ask for it, they just put it here, but my pool doesn't run at night and my light show doesn't run during the day, so it's perfect. And to power my controllers, I have these Casa smart plugs. And these is just like the one that's in the box on the other side for the permanent lights, but these are outdoor ones. So this one is connected to my F16 V5, and then I got two power cables going to my F16 V4 because I have 4 of the Meanwell LRS 350 12 volt power supplies in there, and on this one I only have 2, so I don't need as much power. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and head into the office. Okay, so now we're in my office, and this is where I control X lights from. This is where I make all the sequences and import them and do all the stuff I gotta do for the show. And hopefully I can make a cool little transition in here and show you guys the software, give you a little high level overview. It works from a recording from my computer. I'm using a MacBook Pro, and then I got this big old 43-inch monitor, LG monitor that I use for, it's not a TV, it's an actual computer monitor. And I use that for my work and for my X-Lite stuff. Okay, so here we are in X-Lights. I'm on a Mac, and it might look a little bit different on a PC, but there's three tabs there's controllers, layout, and sequencer. And controllers is where you add all your controllers, and you can see, like we talked about before, I had my Dig Quad, my F16 V4, and my V5, and then the Raspberry Pi has a FPP, which is a Falcon Pi player, I think is what it is. But whatever. And then the next tab here is layout, and this is where you put all the details of your house and what all your props look like. And you draw all this. They got all these little controls up here where you add and remove them. And then the last one's the sequencer. And this is where you sequence your show. I'm going to go ahead and close this guy down real quick. When you're doing new sequence, just go to File, New, but I'm actually just going to open one really quick that I already have done so you guys can see. And I'm actually going to go to my Rudolph one here that I made. Basically, what you do is all your props are listed over here on the left-hand side, and then the timing is over here. So the song's at the top, and then everything's over here on the right-hand side, and you basically tell everything what to do, when to turn on, when to turn off, and all that good stuff. I'm going to deselect this track, this timing track here, but I'll zoom in, and you can see like down here on my, oh, let's zoom out a little bit, and go over here. There we go. So basically, like on my star, I have it red, green, blue, white, and then this one's, and then it goes green, and then it goes red, green, blue, white, red, green, blue, white. Those are the colors, and then in this part of the song, it goes red, white, red, white, red, white, red, da da da, all that good stuff. And then you bring up your little house display here, and then you could preview what it's going to look like on. That was loud. So basically, you could preview what it's going to do, and you could change things and do whatever you want. That's how I make all the sequences, and some of them I make, and some of them I buy, and then I import them and make them work on my show. But they're all pretty much controlled the same way. And then you save them, and you go to this little tool up here to um, send them to FPP Connect, and then you connect and send them to your Falcon Pi player, which is on your Raspberry Pi, and then that's where they stay, and then they play from the Falcon Pi player. So that's pretty much it. If I don't have it running right now, so I can't bring it up. But that's pretty much X-Lights in a nutshell. It's not anything too crazy, too complicated. It's just time consuming to go through and put all these letters in, all these words in, and make everything exactly the way that you want it. And spend hours and hours and hours on it until it's perfect. I'm about done editing the first video about the controllers and the setup of the show. And before I go, I thought I would show you guys or tell you a little bit about how I record this and how I finish it up and edit it and put it out there. So when I'm filming the videos, I just use my iPhone. It's an iPhone 15 Pro Max this year. It's what I have. And for the audio, I have a little Zoom recorder here for when I'm talking at least. It's a F2 field recorder by Zoom. It's really, really easy. And then for the audio, for the actual videos of the house, I just have the MP3 and I overlay it over the video just like I do with this. I just overlay the audio over the video so the audio sounds good using the microphone. And my computer, it's a MacBook Pro 13-inch M1 2020, 16 gigs of RAM. Not super crazy expensive or anything, just a nice computer. The Macs work really good with X-Lights. And on the computer, to edit the videos, I use DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve is free software. It works on a Mac and a PC. And the current version that I run is 18.6. And like I said, it's free. I don't pay for it. I don't have any upgrades. And it's really limited on what you could do on transitions and stuff like that. But it works good enough for the videos that we have here. If anyone has any questions, hit me up, send me a DM, put a comment in the video, and I'll do my best to reply. But otherwise than that, that's going to be it for this first video about the controllers. If you want to see the other two, I'll put the links in the description. And until then, I'll see you guys on the next one.